Welcome back. Great to have your company on 𝐊𝐿𝐴 TV. I'm Holly and you're watching The Buzzing Trends, a specially curated show that brings you emerging trends driving the market momentum and the related stocks under the spotlight. And stay with us for today's stock fact of the day as well. To give you a highlight of what we've got on the show today, in the first segment of the show, we'll be taking a look at the factors driving the copper prices. After that, we'll be zooming our lens on over to the 5 ASX hot copper stocks. Then in the last segment, we'll be having a look at where the copper prices are heading in the near term. So without further ado, let's get started with our first segment of the show and look at how copper prices are panning out amid shifting demand-supply dynamics. Copper prices touched a 6-week high on Monday, which might be a surprise to learn it's linked to a natural disaster. The prices surpassed 4.6 per pound US on the COMEX market, which for your info is the primary futures and options market for trading metals like gold, silver, copper and aluminium. The copper price rise was triggered by an anticipated increase in demand due to floods in China amid declining inventories. There have been floods in many key locations in China, including the Zhengzhou in the Henan province, which is industrial and transport hub. The floods have reportedly caused more than $10 billion in damage. Needless to say, a tragedy for the residents of the province. The initial uptick in the copper prices was strong after the outlook and supply constraints following the floods was seen to be the driving gains in the copper. However, rebounding US dollar snapped copper prices' 5-day winning streak on Tuesday, outweighing supply concerns from floods in central China. The dollar eased early on Tuesday at just below recent peaks, but the currency rebounded later in the session as investors turned their focus to this week's Federal Reserve meeting. On that note, let's move on to the second segment of our show and have a look at the buzzing stocks with copper exposure against the overall copper price dynamics. First on the list is junior explorer Caravel Minerals. The copper exploration and development company is advancing a large-scale copper resource in a world-class jurisdiction. Caravel has received high-grade mineralization results for 6 recently completed diamond core drill holes at the Bindi copper deposit, part of its flagship Caravel copper project located in Western Australia's Wheatbelt region. And on the charts, we can see shares have delivered a return of over 70% this year, as on the 27th of July 2021. And for another, headquartered in Brisbane, Aeris Resources operates 2 wholly owned projects. Trident Copper Operations is located in New South Wales, and Cracow Gold Operations is located in Queensland. The Diversified Mining and Exploration Company intends to become a mid-tier mining company with a focus on gold and base metals. The company has achieved production and all-in sustaining cost guidance for the financial year 21 at its Cracow and Trident operations. Now, coming back to financials, all-in sustaining cost, also commonly known as AISC, is advanced metrics used by the mining companies to report their mining cost. It's an extension of currently existing cash cost metrics and includes sustainable production costs as well. On the stock performance front, Aeris Resources shares have delivered a return of over 90% this year, as on the 27th of July. Next up is Chalice Mining, an ASX-listed multi-commodity producer engaged in the exploration and production of nickel, copper, cobalt, gold and platinum group metals at its Julimar project in WA. Last month, the company identified several extensive nickel-copper soil anomalies at the highly prospective Julimar complex. Looking at the stock charts, we can evaluate Chalice Mining's shares, which have delivered a return of over 60% this year, as on the 27th of July. Now for our stock fact of the day. Unsurprisingly, this one is about copper. The metal has many benefits, one of which helps to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Can you guess what it is? The answer to that and more after the break, so stay with us.
Property by 𝐊𝐚𝐥𝐤𝐢𝐧𝐞. Looking for a dream home? Well, that may sound easy, but it isn't. And from looking for a property that is the right fit for you in terms of cost and other factors, to zeroing down on the right mortgage plan, there are various aspects to consider. And for the latest lowdown on the property market, tune in on 𝐊𝐴𝐼𝐼 TV with me, Sage. I will give the latest updates on the property market as well as real estate stocks to help you make the right decision. Keep watching Property with 𝐊𝐴𝐼𝐼.
Hi and welcome back. I'm Holly and you're watching The Buzzing Trends. Today we're looking at ASX listed copper stocks grabbing the headlines. Before the break though, we were on a fun fact about copper and its link with the fight against COVID. Well, you may or may not have guessed it, but copper is a natural antibacterial agent and is common use in door handles for public buildings because it helps prevent disease transmission, a benefit known since ancient times. While viruses live for days on plastic or metal, it disintegrates instantly on copper surfaces. So you've got copper to thank for some of your safety from COVID. Moving on now, let's zoom our lens on over to the Eagle Mountain Mining, an ASX listed copper and gold focused exploration and development company. It's engaged in the development of the Oracle Ridge copper mine, which is located in the state of Arizona in the US. In its latest update, the company announced the arrival of a third diamond drill rig at its Oracle Ridge project as a part of the accelerated exploration program. The campaign is aimed at increasing the existing JORC mineral resource, drill testing prospective new targets in the vicinity of the mine, and establishing resources in the measured category. JORC stands for the Australasian Joint Ore Reserves Committee, which is sponsored by the Australian mining industry and its professional organisations. It sets minimum standards for public reporting of minerals exploration results, mineral resources and iron ore reserves. And by measured mineral resource, we mean the part of a mineral resource for which tonnage, densities, shape, physical characteristics, grade and mineral content can be estimated with a high level of confidence. Looking at the charts now, and we can see Eagle Mountain shares have delivered a return of close to 60% this year as of the 27th of July 2021. And last on our radar today is Copper Mountain Mining Corporation, an Australian-based company with flagship projects located in world-class mining jurisdictions. The company holds various copper projects in Australia and British Columbia. It produces 29.6 million pounds of copper, equivalent in June 2021 quarter, with a C1 cash cost of $1.38 per pound. The company has increased its copper production guidance range to 90 to 100 million pounds for 2021. Net direct cash cost, or C1, represents the cash cost incurred at each processing stage, from mining through to recoverable metal delivered to market, less net byproduct credits. On the stock performance front, Copper Mountain Mining shares have delivered a return of close to 120% this year as of the 27th of July. Mountainous returns indeed. Well, that is just about all for now in the copper stocks today. Let's now jump over to the last segment of the show where we'll touch on the general consensus regarding the outlook of copper prices. According to market analysts, copper is extensively used in the green energy industry, including renewables, energy storage, and electric vehicles. The demand for the metal is expected to continue to increase as well. While high demand in the infrastructure sector and electrification of vehicles is a plus point for the copper prices in the near term, copper inventories in the London Metals Exchange registered warehouse need to be carefully evaluated. Going forward, the growth trajectory of miners appears to depend on the global economic recovery and the containment of the COVID-19 spread, which are essential to retain or revive the momentum in commodity prices. And with that, it is just about time to wrap up the show, but stay tuned because we'll be right back with another buzzing trends show later on in the day at around 3:30 p.m. Holly Shields signing off.